Hey, Miss Jennifer, how you doing today? How you doing today? Blessings to you. Blessings, blessings, blessings to you. Excuse where I am. I had to get out of the sunlight. It's been a day, y'all. It has legitimately been a day. It has most definitely been a day. For those of you guys that haven't caught any of the broadcasts on today, my family has been recovering from my uncle committing suicide. And so that happened on Sunday, on my birthday. And so it has been different. It's been surreal. It has been a little bit heavy. But it's been one of those moments where I've just literally been trying to make the most out of, the day and just keep moving forward one step, at a time. Our declaration on, I'm doing all right. Yeah, it happened, Miss Jennifer. He was 70 something, and it's something how, as more and more people are beginning to kind of talk, it was one of those things, and I'll say this, it's one of those things that as people saw it coming, this was something that he hinted at. I'm just going to talk for a little bit before I get into the word. For as long as I can remember, he's just been independent, don't count on nobody to do nothing. And over the course of the last year, it's like he went from being able to do all that to not being able to do anything, not being able to really talk. He could talk, but you really couldn't understand much of what he was saying. Even, to not really being able to walk without falling. And so it was one of those things where it happened so suddenly. And it's kind of like, I want to say this. I don't think enough people take like mental health seriously when people begin to talk about, suicide and different things like that. There was something that he had spoken to my aunt. And I'll say this and let this be it, where he pretty much said, they were talking about something and he said, or I can just end it. And it's like, people really don't take comments like that, seriously. And it just reminds me too, like, just what a self-centered world we live in, where people are just so self-absorbed with what they have going on that, they really don't think about what other people need or the mental state of other people. And so, it's just been a humbling experience. It's still been surreal. It really has been. It has been. But, so today was one of those days where I actually went to see my aunt. She lives about an hour away. And I spent some time up there and just kind of loved on them, because that was something that I just felt like God needed me to just love on her some. His brothers and sisters have been shaken up by this in itself. And so that's kind of been like what my day has been like today. It's just been me spending time with my aunt and her daughters, and just kind of just letting that be it. And it's like, more revelation has began to come, but I don't know if anybody knows this, but all revelation is not lighthearted. Some revelation is just, it's heavy, it's hard to like process, and it'll make you to the point where you are just literally so emotional. It'll make you, to where you're just literally so emotional that, you just kind of like, God, okay, I need a break. Can we just hit pause? Can I just take a nap and we can resume this whenever? And sometimes you be begging God, Lord, I don't want to know anything else. Like, I don't want to know anything else. I will say too, like, during this time, blessings to you, because like my mother she was the one that found him, and she was the only one that saw like how gruesome it was, saw the body, and she was the one to go and check in on him. And even as she was just talking to me, she was pretty much she was fussing the entire way there, because she thought that he was fine, that he had just fallen or so. She thought that he was fine, or whatever the case may be. But I don't think in a million years that she expected to walk into their mom's house and find that he had shot himself. And so I even checked in on her just to see how she was holding up. And I'll say this, I think that death does two things to a family, and this ain't even a word, but I guess this is what God wanted me to talk about. It either brings people together, but it also destroys bloodlines. And my family has just one of those histories where whenever someone dies, it is just always drama. It's always somebody has to be the bad guy, and whatever the case may be. And so it's just been difficult for me to kind of just not take sides, to not get caught up in all the drama of who did this, who said this, and different things like that. But it's kind of hard, but today was one of those days where I had to just legitimately find balance. It was one of those days where I literally just had to find balance. And it's like, sometimes you can be in a mindset, because I talked about like contentment, and this is kind of where we're going to go with this. I talked about contentment and how contentment brings us into a place of childlike faith. And it's in that place of childlike faith that, we oftentimes see God move. We see him do the things that, we're believing for him to do. And even some, he'll even usher in some heavenly surprises sometimes. But I think too, even in us choosing to be content, that that the enemy works so hard, to get us focused on other things, to trip us up, to trigger us. Because I had a moment where today has been good. I've just been guarding my mind when the thoughts try to come in, and, just wanting understanding, wanting to, know details, But I found myself just in dealing with all of the hoopla about like my uncle's passing and different things like that. I found myself triggered. Y'all ever been triggered where, let's just say you make up your mind not to be worried about something, not to be concerned about something. And, it's kind of like you get into a mindset where you're good. And then when you least expect it, you find yourself being triggered and tempted back into like worrying, stressing, picking whatever the thing is that you gave God. And so, that was kind of like where I was, all of that just kind of, it triggered me into thinking about other things that, I need to get done and different things like that. And it kind of weighed me down this afternoon. And as I was just, sitting here as I was getting home, because I just recently got home from my aunt's home. But even in just, sitting out here and just kind of just trying to get some fresh air and just let God calm me down, because it is very emotional. But I heard the Lord, even when I was being triggered, hey, Visha, where he had to kind of like get me together, but in a soft way. And what he told me was, worry not about what tomorrow holds. I'll say that again. And this may be for somebody. Worry not about what tomorrow holds. It's like we have to remember that, like, when we make up our mind to trust God, when we make up our mind to like give God a situation or give God a circumstance, like, we have to also understand that it's the devil's job to tempt us back into that place where we're picking up the thing that we gave God. It's his job to tempt us back in that place of stressing about things we can't control, worrying about things that, it ain't even time for. Half the things just think about it. Half the things we worry about, these are things that hadn't even happened, right? And it's like the more and more you think about those things that haven't happened, it's kind of like anxiety begins to literally just set in. And I believe that that I'm not the only person, even though like my situation, what I've been going through is kind of heavy. It's a lot to process, even just the details of them cleaning up, the scene, my cousin, my sister, just cleaning up the scene so that his brothers and sisters did not have to do it. I can't even fathom it, y'all. And it's like in that moment where I learned those details, and where I'm just like, Lord, you knew I could not handle any more trauma, or I could not be the one to do that. I just it's a lot. But just that in itself, allowing myself for a minute to get heavy and weighed down with just so many different emotions going on around me, it's been difficult to kind of keep going. And I guess like in a moment of me just feeling all the different emotions, of everybody around me, it put me in a mindset where my guard was down and the enemy could attack me. But in that moment, I think honestly it happens to us all sometimes, where we let our guard down for a moment, and boom, here comes the devil, leading our mind back to that place that we told God it was not going to go. And so like I say, today has just been heavy for different reasons. Just the amount of details, the amount of information that has come in, like it was like my uncle planned it, y'all. He thought it out. He thought it out. Just from how, he moved his car to where people could have access to. It's like he knew what he was going to do. And so that in itself has just been real difficult. I don't want to talk too much about it. I don't want YouTube to flag me, to warn, put a warning on the account or any of that. But, that's kind of what I've been dealing with, just the emotions behind it all, and not understanding, it's like sometimes we can understand, but we don't accept the understanding that comes. And so that's kind of been where I was. But I heard God, as I was sitting out here just kind of relaxing a little bit and just kind of just trying to shake all of those emotions off of me. I heard him tell me, he said, don't worry about what tomorrow holds. And it's like in that moment, I knew that what God was saying is, don't let your mind, go from what you've been dealing with to all the different things that, like, you need to see me do, all the different things that all the different stressors that life brings itself. And I believe that, it's one of those, words that God wants that everybody can get something from. Worry not about what tomorrow holds, because worrying about what tomorrow holds brings a lot of unnecessary stress, a lot of unnecessary drama. It brings a lot of unnecessary, like, negative emotions that when you think about it, it don't make you feel better. It only weighs you down. And so it's like sometimes in getting yourself to a place where you're not so focused on tomorrow, not worried about what tomorrow had, not thinking about things that have not yet happened. A lot of times you have to honestly, like, do what I did, like, take a moment to sit down. And I think for a lot of people, like, when our minds start racing, the last thing that we do is to sit down and just take a deep breath. I'm going to say that again. I think the last thing that, like, a lot of us do, like, when we're going through it, is just taking a break, hitting pause on whatever it is that we're doing, and literally just taking a moment to breathe, to, just rest in God, to go sit outside, go for a walk, whatever it is. And so it's like, because we don't take that needed breath, that much needed moment of just pressing pause, it's like our mind can get the best of us. And honestly, like, when I think about it, this is one of the things that I always tell people that battle with anxiety. Like, when you feel it coming, like, sometimes you need to sometimes you can redirect yourself into thinking about something else, but there are just some moments where you literally may just need to hit pause, go for a walk, go sit outside, go just take some deep breaths, just to pause those thoughts and get to a point where you even know what to pray. And so that was kind of what I did today. My mind was racing, y'all. My mind was racing. The emotions had just been heavy. And so that's kind of what I believe God wanted me to, to talk about, Worry not about what tomorrow holds. I'm going to say that again. Worry not about what tomorrow holds. And that's kind of, that's the word. I can't add nothing else to it. I can't take away anything else from it. It's just, I've been having to process a lot lately. I've been having to process a lot and just literally just get to a point where I can function. And so I was able to go, I had the gas to get to my aunt's house and to get back, which I'm extremely grateful for. The only other thing that I need is I got to get my phone bill paid. When it got turned off a week and a half ago, I only had to pay half, but they pretty much told me that I have to pay again tomorrow the other half, or they gonna turn it off, and that's another reconnection fee or whatever the case it may be. And so right now, my goal to pay that phone bill because I need it, not just for ministry, but to check on the people in my family that are even more affected by this. I think everybody is affected, but to check on the people that are even more affected from this than I am. And so that's really my goal. 152, I want to say it's 151 and some change to pay the rest of what I owe, and that was including the restoration fee of what I owe that they added on to this half. And so that is my goal. Can somebody type that in for me? I know that I'm talking, and what I'm talking about is really heavy. And I was just telling God earlier, I said, Lord, it just seems like these losses this year have just been legitimately back to back to back, and it's been hard for me not to get weighed down by it. And so that's it, y'all. I can't add nothing else to it, but the goal to have until tomorrow to pay it. I believe it comes out tomorrow morning, but what I need to pay it is 152. And so for those of y'all that are sewing, those of y'all that have been sewing, that sewed just for me to get the gas to go and check on my aunt, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful. That's all I can say. To those of y'all that are sewing towards the goal, the only thing that I ask is, those are kids coming home. The only thing that I ask is that you guys just label it paid in full, or you can label it God is faithful, or you may feel led to sow seed into this particular word. I had not planned to go back live because it's just been one of those days where I really have not really wanted to talk much. But that's the goal. Again, for those sewing, it's just so I can keep my phone on. That's it. And so that's it, y'all. I love y'all. I'm rooting for you guys. I am probably about to just go for a walk to kind of just clear my head and talk to God some about just this day, the situation in general, and let that be it. I will be on TikTok at 6:30 p.m. And I've been pushing through as best as I can. I will say that God knows I have been pushing through as best as I can, trying to stay focused and just continue blessing other people. But God even knows sometimes it's hard when you yourself just need, the encouragement. But yeah, that's it. That is it. I received that, Miss Baldwin. And it's even though I was close to my uncle growing up, but he was not the closest one that I was close to. But it's kind of you never expect for suicide to hit so close to home. You never expect for it to hit so close. And it was something that I just did not. It is unreal. It's really unreal. That's all I can say. It just really feels like a dream. It is not like it didn't happen. But I know that it did. And so I just thank y'all for praying, for me, for my family. And I even ask that y'all pray for my mother. Because it's one of those things, and she said it today, which I knew it. There are just some things that you just can't unsee. She's not going to be able to unsee that scene of walking into his house, seeing his body, his lifeless body, and all that blood. she's just not going to be able to unsee that. And so I do pray, I do ask that you guys would pray for her. I believe that honestly she needs it more than I do. And that's just a genuine play. That's just a genuine request. She needs it a lot more than I do. My feelings are just hurt. I'm just shocked. But I cannot imagine how she feels. And so that is it, y'all. As funds come in, I will let y'all know. Once we meet that goal, I will let you guys know. Whatever is left over, I honestly haven't had an appetite. But whatever's left over, I'm probably going to just get me something to eat. Because I haven't had an appetite. And I think on the farm, I pulled a pear off the pear tree, y'all. That was probably the highlight of this day. Pulling a pear off the pear tree. And all I can say is, Lord, it tastes so different than like the stores. That was probably all I ate today. And I had an ice cream cone. That was it. And so I do know that I need something of substance. But right now I'm just focused on making sure that I have a phone, to call out and where people can reach me on tomorrow. And so that's it, y'all. I love y'all. I'm rooting for you guys. And so till next time, y'all. Peace.